Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hamster's Hobby Hang.
Just doing this on purpose at this point.
Well, now I'm like super conscious of it.
Yeah, but you were leaning into that so hard.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me you weren't trying to sound ridiculous.
No, and I was, because if I make it a thing that it's ridiculous, then it won't be accidentally ridiculous and be mortifying, you know?
Yeah, if I'm making fun of myself, then nobody else can make fun of me. I get it.
Right.
What is this glorious build? I think that was like a Wildlands mega build that Nate did during the Kickstarter.
That was
making it.
That was during the Kickstarter with all the Wildlands prototypes.
We're still using that for the show.
Still using it because it's still awesome, you know?
It's the one the Hamster has, yeah.
Yeah. It's all I've got.
I mean, what would be a good pre-roll here? Some kind of just some beauty reel of like painting the pieces or something?
Maybe. I mean, maybe
footage.
Maybe when the new monthly thing, the new Project Red Eagle starts being on the Hobby Hang every once in a while, we can do clips of that or something.
We could.
Or
Project Red Eagle.
how about this, where it's like an unpainted mini, when there's a slow motion of like paint splattered onto it, like just like spilling onto it. It goes on for like 10 minutes with just different colors and it becomes like this rainbow mess.
Sure.
I want us to call KS8 Project Red Eagle from now on. And make all of just like give it like that kind of name and make everybody think like, oh, it's gonna be some kind of like they're gonna think the name means something, but it's just a code name.
Yeah. I mean, code names usually don't mean anything related.
Yeah, it'll be like a Blue Harvest situation. But yeah, we could have you like record time lapses of you painting some pieces. We'd probably, we'd want them to be Dwarven Forge pieces, but
Yeah, I'm down for that. Got the camera.
that could be fun.
Oh man, there's Dunk coming in
Hi,
hot.
Dunk. Say hi.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Where is he? Oh, this thing isn't working. But there he is.
See the previews for the new D&D Magic set? I did not.
There's another one happening? Oh, the Magic. It's like Forgotten Realms and Magic. I thought they did another source book from Magic for D&D.
No, it stopped. No, it's D&D cards in Magic, right?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I absolutely adore D&D. I really don't care that much about the settings. Like, I wouldn't recognize a lot of the iconic locales and everything. I know some of them. Like, I played a lot of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I'm not big on the pre-written setting stuff, really.
See, I mean, I haven't seen it at all yet, but I've been skeptical of Magic for a number of years now because they're just drifting away from Magic. Like, Magic.
I hear you. I don't think Magic exists either.
Okay, that's our stream, everybody. I definitely had a deer in the headlights moment for a second.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so the first time it got a little goofy was like the fairy tale set. I loved it. I drafted the crap out of that set. What was it called again, Toby?
Eldraine?
Yes, Throne of Eldraine, and the art was really cool. I was like, all right, this is, I can do a little shift. This is fun.
Yeah, we went to a couple of drafts together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But then it started like, it never like returned to Magic. Like, I got the kaiju thing. I get why that's cool, but it's not Magic. You know, it's I like it'd be like saying this is Godzilla's in the Forgotten Realms now. It's like it's not in the world of Magic.
Yeah,
and
I agree, like,
yeah,
I did like a Pokemon the movie 2000 thing and had exclusive Magic cards that you only got if you went to see Godzilla vs Kong.
I mean, that's kind of what they're doing now with like all the. They call it Universes Beyond or something.
Yeah.
Where it's like they first did it with the secret layer of the Walking Dead, where it's like exclusive. Like
that was when like
buy for 1 week exclusive cards, and then they're doing Lord of the Rings and 40K. It's like
here's the thing. I love all those things. I love Walking Dead, 40K, Lord of the Rings, but it's not Magic.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to experience those worlds in their own contexts. And Magic like has its own thing. Like making a source book of Ravnica made sense to me because they made that setting so deep, like the politics and the identity of all the guilds and everything. It'd be cool to play in that world, and that's a Magic world. But Walking Dead is not a Magic world.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's zombies there? Yeah. But there's also guns.
Exactly. It's like, this is a Magic. So, I don't know. I've been really detached from the game, even though I have loved it for most of my life.
All right, I guess none of you are going to get to see me paint.
Too much cat butt happening?
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about the actual lore of Magic. And granted, I'm not deep on Magic, but it's also like, I don't know when I would ever actually look into it. You know?
Well, and even as I played the game, I didn't like read the novels. I wasn't super into like a lot of the lore, but I got the identity of the sets, and when they would visit different planes, they like had their own identities, right? And now they're just trying to mishmash the identities of other entirely different IPs into it. And I'm just like, that's not the game I want to play, man. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people feel the same way from what I, and like, it's essentially just Hasbro. Like,
yeah.
Remember we heard stuff about like how Nate was hearing from people at Wizards how Hasbro like kind of realized that they own D&D,
right?
And started like get all over. I'm pretty sure it's just like Hasbro realizing that they had this and realizing that it makes money.
It's the
like,
shareholders, man. It's the shareholders, and they want to see the graph with the upward trajectory, right? It's all short-term stuff. So they don't care if they kill the game long term, because annually they're like, hey, this product sold a lot, because they make it cost a lot of money. They're selling it, a lot of it, exclusively from their site directly. They make it limited, like you said.
Yeah. I can guarantee that's the issue with the Walking Dead thing too.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? This is a property that sold well. This is a property that sold well. You know,
but
and I didn't mind as much the Godzilla or like the Ikoria, which is like the monster one that the Godzilla things, because they were just skins for the cards that already were in the set. So
that is true.
Like they were like altars essentially, but you can play that without them.
It was more, I didn't really bundle those together until they all happened like in a row, basically. You know what I mean? Like so close to each other. That's when I was like, all right, I threw my hands up a little bit. But it's also well, it's also that they made, this could have all been fixed if the collectors and the hobbyists that like them could buy them, but they made them tournament legal. So now if they make it a staple card in like a tournament list, then all of a sudden it's gonna be like imprinted on the game forever. It's like if they could have just had it for its target audience, but you weren't like, you know, there's a certain cards that end up being percentage wise, if you want to win with this deck, you have to play, you know, this card, and that's honestly fun. I think the meta tournament scene is like a really high level game that's different from casual Magic, and if they kept them separate, it would have been just fine. But now it's eternally in the game.
What they should have done is like how they did the Godzilla cards, where it says Godzilla's name, and then on the bottom it says like a character, like the Magic character's name.
Yeah.
If they do that, they can always make the card that has.
And you know what? What if they do that in reverse now? They have the Walking Dead card, and they're like, okay, let's make a Magic card of that card.
They'll get my attention when they make a Sonic set.
Okay, if they start doing like video game IPs, I mean, all bets are off now, right? They're doing like every other thing. They probably will go into video games. The Call of Duty Magic.
If they
call me when they do a Shrek.
If they're doing Walking Dead, they're pretty adjacent to doing a video game crossover.
No, yeah, I would not be surprised at this point. You guys talking about Magic, nerds? Thanks, Nerd Botchery. How are you?
Yeah, dude's got nerd in his name. Takes one to know one, I guess, huh? So I guess that actually makes it sting a lot more.
Okay.
Do that Pokemon set, oh baby.
Wait.
Play the Ravnica setting for 5e.
Magic the Gathering, Pokemon.
Problem we encountered was our DM was the only one who knew the setting, so the rest of us were having a hard time being invested in it. A lot of turns in politics, that was a large barrier. Remember, so I think that comes down to a DM thing, right? Because like, I don't care what setting you're using. The DM shouldn't be presenting it in a way where it requires you to have a bunch of outside knowledge, where that knowledge isn't available for you over the course of playing the game. Like, even if you're using the Forgotten Realms, your players shouldn't have to have read a bunch of the Forgotten Realms lore to be able to follow your campaign already. Like, they should be able to get whatever information they need over the course of playing.
But I do get that there's so much depth to Ravnica that you want to try to implement it, and if people aren't necessarily, familiar, like there's this tropes from Forgotten Realms that a lot of D&D players are familiar with, and if you're not super familiar with like the alley-oops you try to give from the Magic setting, I can see why that could be challenging. And maybe when you're excited about Ravnica and you know the setting, maybe there's a trap of like you want to shovel a lot of stuff in there because it is so deep. So I totally get that impulse.
But I think you can shovel that in and still world build in a way where, like, it's introduced as like that's the thing is like I did a Redwall one shot for my D&D group,
which was a sweet idea.
Yeah, but like the reason I did it was because I was the only one in the group who knew Redwall, and I wanted a way to kind of show them what it was about and like why I liked it and like why it mattered to me. And
right.
So they didn't have to. All they had to know was very basic stuff, like what Redwall Abbey is, which I explained to them in like a few minutes, and then like even like what animal would you want to play as, and they weren't like limited to like, oh, what are the canonical animals that get used in Redwall. We had a fruit bat, like it was just like just some sort of small creature, like nothing larger than a sparrow, basically, and like I'll make it work, like whatever. And they didn't know anything about Redwall, but you world build and you introduce stuff to them in a way where they get it. Like,
I mean, I have not ran a campaign, so I just commend anyone who puts himself in the driver's seat.
I'll just wait until I run that. Just wait until I run that speed/Balto one shot for the part.
Hey, and I'm serious. I still want to play some Gun and Slinger, man, when that comes. I have the digital.
I was talking to Miles about that yesterday.
Yeah. I
was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think we can come up with a way to combine terrain with Gun and Slinger so that we can do it on the channel.
Ooh. And what we should do is we should have like physical cards, playing cards.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's something we could do in person because it'd be so easy to set up a stream like that because it's literally 3 people.
Yeah,
it's the game master and 2 players. I don't know if we would keep the same setup that we had when we played it before.
Right.
But like we did a sci-fi western setting for the last game, and we can still do that. But like the point of Gun and Slinger's rule set is it's very, very rules light. It just has a couple things. The only stuff that and they even wrote like if you've got the rule set, they've got Blade and Bearer, they've got Magic Pilot. Like it's not really that tied to genre. Gun and Slinger, like the kind of sci-fi dystopian western aesthetic, was just a cool aesthetic to tie to it, but the rules don't depend on being in that setting.
Yeah, the main draw and I don't want to say gimmick, but you know what I mean. It's just like that relationship of just the duo and the weapon dynamic, which is so interesting and challenging to learn how to play. So I want to get into that more when I like really sit into being a personified magical weapon.
Goofy movie one shot if Nate doesn't watch it by this weekend. He was. I think they're gonna watch it soon. I made a little. I guess I don't know if you guys saw it. I think Toby was there, so Toby saw it. I made a little movie night pack for Nate and left the movie on DVD along with a box of popcorn bags and like 2 packs of M&Ms and a note that says "Watch the film, Goof." and
I feel like his kids are at a good age for it too, aren't they?
That's what I'm saying. Is like genuinely, his kids are the perfect age to watch Goofy movie. It's a really, really good father-son movie.
DMN John Digital, hi, how are ya?
Hello.
So I'm hoping they watch it soon, because I also want my DVD back. But I could add some Goofy movie elements to that speed/Balto one shot.
There you go.
I authentically do want to run that one. It's. I enjoy saying it because it sounds like a joke, but it's actually the best way I've thought of to explain the concept of that one shot. They've been laughing since I can't remember. Hi, cat. Oh yeah, look, I'm stirring a bunch of water. Please don't drink that water. It's got paint in it now.
Drink it.
It's safe. Little brushfuls.
There used to,
I've
in
tested
my
it.
college, there used to be a bunch of cats that walk around, and then there was one cat that used to go into the photography room, like the black rooms and stuff, and would love to drink the photo processing fluid.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
So it was a super
like-
well-developed cat, huh?
I thought you're supposed to have like instincts that prevent you from doing things that'll harm you. Aren't you a wild creature? Aren't you supposed to like be better at this than me?
Hey,
It's not
McGregor.
used to what photo fluids aren't a natural occurring thing. Maybe it tastes sweet. It just doesn't know that it can give it cancer.
Haven't they had enough experience with photo development fluid in the wild?
What the National Geographic people are just developing on site, and then all the tigers drink it.
The Great Polaroid Forest.
Ah, one of the wild dark rooms. Some sort of Pokemon that literally is just a camera.
It's just a
That's about what they're-
I
that's
wouldn't
about
put
what
it. I wouldn't put it past them now. The Pokemon now are just like shapes.
Man, I want to get
I
the new
mean,
Pokemon.
we say that, but what was Voltorb?
Okay, but he was based as like a mechanical, like biomechanical creature. It's not like I'm telling you, this creature organically has some body part that looks like a mustache and a crown on its head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the first generation ones because even if when it was based on an animal, you couldn't really pinpoint what animal it was based on.
Right, but the
But
catch
then
is
second generation was like giraffe.
yes, but they stretched that boundary just enough where it still looked like an animal, and
I mean,
some
my
of it
favorite
was
My
mechanical.
favorite Pokemon from first gen is basically just a dog.
Yeah,
What, Growlithe?
Yeah,
I mean Growlithe is
I adore Growlithe.
amazing.
I want a Growlithe in real life. I have 3 on Pokemon Go.
But it's like fire dog, right? Now it's just like square circle.
Well, it gets to the point. I generally feel like when I look at Pokemon designs now, for the most part, there's still some that are good. But for the most
There's
part, I
still
feel like when I look at them, I'm like, here's a character that was designed for Pokemon.
Right,
As opposed to,
exactly.
Like, here's an animal that I believe naturally exists in this world.
Yeah, it was like fantasy animals, and now it's just Pokemon registered trademark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you look at things like Scyther, and then you see some of the bugs later on. It's like Scyther was like so different from a praying mantis, what it was based on, but now it's just like praying mantis, but maybe give it some red to make it a fire praying mantis.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but
And there are things like Grimer and Magnemite where it's like, okay, there's definitely like some man-made elements to this, but at the same time, like, it's a fantasy world where I can believe that like muck happened as a side, like as a byproduct of a bunch of waste, and it naturally developed in this world.
Right.
And like Magnemite, like I believe, like genuinely, like magnetic forces cause this thing to come together, and the way that we design magnets are actually based on Magnemite, not the other way around.
Right.
Or like Pokeballs are designed after Voltorb, like stuff like that. Like I can buy those things, but when a Pokemon is like literally a keychain,
Yeah.
or it's
ice cream cone,
an ice cream cone,
Right.
a
Yeah,
pile of gears.
I don't know, man.
Exactly. And I get it, like, their whole business model is they have to keep making them, so there's just so many.
Yeah, I do not envy having to make nearly 1,000 of those things.
Right. But just like those originals were just prime. Like, that just captured the imagination.
Yeah, it feels like there's just too many that like either just seem like man-made things,
Yeah.
whereas clearly like let's make a Pokemon that looks like this thing, and I have a hard time buying it's natural, or they look like very over-designed, where it's like there's too many stripes and spikes.
Right.
Well, between your views on this and then the magic, you sound like a Grognard.
I'm getting old.
There's still some good designs though. I really like Fennekin a whole lot. I hate what Fennekin evolves into though.
Yeah, Fennekin evolves into stupid stuff, but
When you're brushing up to 900 characters, the creative juices and they start running out. Yeah, absolutely. Like having to make that many. That's why I think like I don't know. The appeal to Pokemon to me is never like it's why I'm not mad that they cut down on the amount of Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Because I'm like, the point was never to have as many Pokemon as possible for me. There's a point of diminishing returns when it comes to the collect them all aspects for me. Especially because, like, it's not like it's actually a challenge to collect them all anymore. Like, with online trading being a thing, it's actually very easy to just trade for whatever you need at this point. So, like, that's not... I don't know. As somebody who loves to complete things, Pokemon has hit the point of diminishing returns for me when it comes to just the amount of Pokemon there are. I don't really need many more.
The only reason I completed is to get the shiny charm. Again, yeah, but I don't care. But I like that they limit it off to like a certain number, and they don't make you collect like 900 in Sword and Shield.
Yeah. By the way, Toby, Pokemon in Pokemon Go that you need to evolve by trading.
There's some that are like the price is reduced for trading, or free. Like Machamp used to be only candies, but
yeah, like, I have like 4 Pokemon, 4 or 5 that can either evolve by trading or by using a bunch of candies, and I'd rather just trade them and save the game.
Yeah. When you're in, I'll trade you.
Awesome. Yeah, because I gotta do a Kadabra, a Machoke, a Girder, and a Haunter.
Yeah. And whenever you get those, whatever it's called, the one from 5th generation where you have to trade with each other.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
I'm so happy to actually have a Pokemon Go friend. Finally.
Well, it was pretty cool when Pokemon Go came out in New York City because it's just like a place where people kind of are out walking a lot anyway, and so
dude,
you see a lot of people into it.
That story of when a Vaporeon appeared in Central Park, and everybody just went to Central Park.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That first summer with Pokemon Go was a cultural event.
Yeah.
I remember playing in the office with just me and Nina in the office. I opened the app up, and then the Charizard was there, and I was yelling at Nina. I was like, "Open up Pokemon Go right now! There's a Charizard!" And she was like rushing because she just recently uninstalled it, so she was re-downloading it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we should get now that we're getting back into the office, we should get the whole team to just get Pokemon Go again. Because I finally have a phone that can really play it, so I'm finally actually seriously getting into it for the first time. I tried playing it before, but I've always had just a really bad phone, and like 2 months ago, I upgraded to a phone that actually does stuff.
Do a PvP tournament? There you go.
In Pokemon Go? I feel like Toby would have a massive advantage. He's at least way higher level than me.
Yeah.
You have a good 10
level. Never really tried battling out other people, except for the Team Rocket people, so
I've done
I don't know how that works much, but
I've done some battles against other trainers. The main thing is I've never been big on the competitive aspects of Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's never been why I played.
Me too, but I feel like at least in the main games, it felt like there's a lot more going on. This one, it just feels like tap harder.
It's a super simplified version, yeah, and a lot of it comes down to you having the Pokemon that there's definitely a strong these are the best Pokemon for competitive, and having this as possible, having the right attacks, because you only get 2 attacks. You can use Great League. They don't let me do Great League anymore. They only let me do Ultra League or Uncapped.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. It sometimes is there, sometimes gone, and Chunk keeps trying to steal my clay.
So yeah, I was doing Great League, and I was very happy with Great League, and then it disappeared from me. I'm like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. I was using that.
What's up, Finley? Oh, you got your first vaccine. Awesome.
Dude, excellent.
Yeah, we're very close to everyone in the office having it.
I think everybody in the office has gotten their second jab. And,
oh, wow.
And we're, it's just that kind of 2-week period.
That's
where
awesome.
Where you wait to make sure it's taking effect.
I think today was the end of my 2-week period, so.
It's been 1 week and 1 day for me.
It's been.
Oh no.
In less than a week, I'll be done.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, doctor.
I've literally gone into the office every day this week so far, which is a great feeling that I haven't gotten to have for a while.
Same
And
for
it's
me.
because we have like a bunch of things we're working on, but man, we have so much going on. Like,
Yeah.
and I think just because like we're doing so much more now outside of just Kickstarter stuff, like everything we've been doing to like update the store and like doing the reconfigurations, all of that like on top of the Kickstarter development.
And on top of the fixing up previous KS7 stuff,
Yeah.
I want to keep working on KS cities, but no, I'm stuck in fixing up old stuff.
Yeah, I can't believe how many well I'm painting a lot of I'm doing a lot of painting for not being in Kickstarter mode.
There are so many boats printed out at the office
The
right
freaking boat. Don't mention it.
So
I've been
many
stuck on
boats.
that. Right. I think I got a solution, but
That's awesome. I have no doubt that you'll figure it out. It's just unfortunate, like how long it takes to like, because you got to like do the print, and that takes time, and
yeah.
How long does it take to print something the size of the boat at that quality with that printer?
Well, okay. I'm printing at like not the highest quality right now since I'm just trying to test the fit. But if I want to print the boat in whole in the highest setting, it will probably take like 2.5 days.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize
do it
that.
in 2 prints, so it's like a little bit less per. So it's like half that for one, and then the other half for the second print because it doesn't all fit on the print bed. But it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's been a lot of like tiny tweaks, and it's, does this work? And we printed it out like 3 days later. It's like, nope, it doesn't work.
Nope. And then a week has passed. Modular ships confirmed. Yeah, we're printing boats over here.
Yep.
Doctor, I'm doing good, man. I always look forward to Hobby Hang.
Yeah, welcome, Dr. Icer. I don't recognize that name. I don't think. What are Hamster and Toby most excited to do for the sci-fi sets?
Well, I haven't looked at the results of the survey, so I don't know what ballpark we're going. I'm just ecstatic in general that we're going back there and giving it the full Dwarven Forge touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should say,
Yeah.
so, you know, we've been looking at the results so far, but we haven't closed the polls yet, so if you haven't filled it out yet, go fill it out. We haven't done our big team meeting about it yet either, so we don't know what we're doing yet.
Right.
That said, I'm sure Hamster and Toby have both thought about sci-fi just on their own a lot, so I'm sure that
I'm just excited that we're like dipping our toes in that water because it's like obviously so broad that we can just like go anywhere from there, you know.
Yeah.
Once we start.
I'm excited to just break the seal because there is like a lot of different things for us to do, and so at least doing one finally gets us going down that path.
Right. And of course, being the wargame guy, it's just numbers wise, sci-fi has a bigger part of the pie in wargaming, so that will help that.
Sci-fi RPGs are getting more popular now too.
That's awesome. Yeah, Starfinder, and I saw that the cover of that mech RPG that you got looks awesome.
Oh, Lancer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play Lancer.
The art just had me super intrigued.
That's an RPG. The combat is kind of a blend of standard RPG and wargame.
Oh, nice.
I think you'll enjoy it. I want to play some test sessions when we've got time. Just get like some of the team together and get some snacks and like just do some mock battles and stuff. Because
man, I'd love that.
I've been excited to play Lancer for a very long time.
Hey, Mace is in the chat. She can't on a Thursday night. She can't stay away. Hi, Mace.
She got out.
Yeah.
Off her back.
Oh my, Greg says, crashed ship scatter with fogger support, please? Dude, that would be awesome.
That would be sick. Oh,
I feel like Light Cup is going to be more at home there than anywhere else.
You know what would be sick is to have some kind of giant, like, spaceship turbine for the crash scatter, and you can fit the fogger inside that, and so it's literally coming out of, like, the crashed engine.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That'd be sick.
Oh, Merc has Lancer too. He wants to run that. Nerd Botcher, are you talking about the discontinued Aliens miniatures game? Because I bought when I knew that Stargrave was coming out. This is months ago. I saw someone in a Facebook group selling the discontinued Aliens miniatures, and I bought a few boxes. So I'm excited to have some of those. Oh, the new one? Okay.
Have you all heard the good word about Technooks? Oh man. I guess I'll fill you two in. Technooks are so the both the Discord and the forums have been talking about what they want to see, and among the people who are really fighting for us to do like spaceship / starbase interiors, they really want like an insert wall or an ossuary nook style piece where you can swap out like what goes in that hole, kind of like the Dungeon of Doom insert wall. And so that way, and like with the same footprint, so that you can mix like Dungeon of Doom and sci-fi pieces, basically.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I've been calling it the Tech Nook. So you can swap in like a computer screen or a viewing port, all that stuff. Tech Nooks, same footprint as Ossuary Nooks, so you can mix and match sci-fi walls with fiddly bits, or even have necromancers in space. They've got that pitch down. Yeah. It's really hard for me to like land on like the one sci-fi aesthetic I would love for us to do. So I do have a lot of love for like super retro sci-fi, but there's not that many things that use it. Like old like Buck Rogers style sci-fi. Love that aesthetic, but I don't know that it would see a lot of use compared to doing something more Aliens or Star Wars.
Yeah, I got a bunch of like the old bubble helmet type guys for Stargrave, and like some really sort of cartoony alien like mutations. Like this guy this is a human with a big forehead and long arms, like that type of comic book sort of guy.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to do that with Stargrave.
Man, there's just so much we can do.
More cat butts. All right.
I don't know where she is. Oh, Dunks. Okay.
Yeah, both of
I thought
them
you were making a
feature.
request.
I got request. No need. These cats know the cameras are on, and we're ready.
Yeah.
Hi, Six.
A couple of minutes ago, I was surrounded by 3 of them, just constantly just trying to. I was fighting off them. But
I want to play either the 80s Star Wars or Star Trek RPG. I played the Star Wars. I've done, oh man, maybe like 10 sessions of. It was just Star Wars 3.5. It was literally that, and that was pretty fun actually. It was fun.
Yeah,
It was fun to just go back to the nitty gritty of 3.5 anyway, and just like really crunch the abilities and stuff.
That was one of the. Oh, what was that one called? So I think I've played a session of that before.
I don't actually know the name, but it was that.
There's been 3 different takes on the Star Wars RPGs, right? And like FFG is making the current one.
Yeah, I think so. This one was like the actual Wizards one. That was literally just a skin on 3.5.
I think that's the one I played.
And not in a bad way. It was awesome.
About to start as a player in the FFG Star Wars. Let me know how that is. That's the one that uses like the, what is it called? Where the dice have like, it's like all D6s, but they have like special faces or something. It's not the fate system, is it? It's...
Oh, narrative dice are called? That sounds cool. Hey, Rabbit in the house. How you doing, man?
I had somebody.
Hey, Rabbit. What's up?
I had somebody explain that Star Wars dice system to me once, and it seemed really interesting. But I never had.
I think I've seen the picture of like a picture. I've seen them in game stores.
Yeah, it seems like a cool concept. I never gotten to actually play with it though, so I'm not too familiar with the actual flow of the game, but it seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
Well, I'm glad it seemed interesting, because it definitely sometimes seems like games make their own dice to sell them, and not because it's adds anything, you know what I mean?
No, with theirs it like really established that like the point was to tell stories, you know?
Alright.
'Cause, like, depending on the dice that you roll, like you're not rolling to beat a number so much as you're rolling for like the degree of success or failure of the thing that you do. From my understanding.
Sure.
And so it's less number crunchy and it's more like, okay, this is narratively what happens. Now you've got to like explain like how that came to be, or whatever.
Alright, I'm into that.
Which kind of reminds me of North Sea Epilogues, which is a system I really, really like. North Sea Epilogues is probably the best Viking RPG system out there.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Although the system could be pretty easily adapted into non-Viking things. It's not really a system or a setting-dependent system. Oh wow, you're.
Sally?
She wants to be known.
Well, she's known. I don't think it's possible for her not to be. She makes sure of that.
Mission accomplished.
Yep. Don't worry, you have not been forgotten. Literally cannot, no matter how hard I try.
Tried?
I try to forget I have a cat on like a constant basis.
Hey, that already happened to her once.
That is true. That is how I got her.
And someone just left her in the old apartment, right?
Yeah, so apparently she had. So, my understanding, one of my friends on Facebook years ago basically posted that they had a neighbor who, for some reason, had some disability. They weren't able to work or anything, so they were just kind of at home all day. And they got evicted at some point. And then when the landlord went to prepare the place to start showing it to people, he just found a cat in this empty apartment.
Oh.
She was like freaking out. And so I guess wherever they moved, they couldn't take her, so they just left her in the empty apartment.
Oh, jeez.
So he fed her and like let her stay in the apartment for like a month. But then he was like, we've got to like rent this place out.
Right.
And so the initial plan was we were just supposed to keep her for a little bit while they found somebody to adopt her for good, but nobody ever bit, and we wound up just keeping her.
Oh, you're a hero.
Yeah. So she has pretty bad abandonment issues because of that.
Sure. Well, I just saw something sad. They were saying that, like, a lot of dogs are being returned because people adopted them in quarantine, and now they, like, are back to normal now, and that
What, did they
stinks.
just expect the quarantine was going on forever? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Some people
I
suck.
think it was the thing where they realized, like, once they started going back to work, they're like, oh, I don't have time to take care of a dog. Like,
Well,
I don't
right.
have to walk
And maybe they were, like, lonely and didn't necessarily understand the full responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. No, it's not an excuse. It's just like it's
Yeah, for sure.
they screwed up by doing this. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Fostering exists for a reason. They should just foster it.
Yeah.
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 Hey,
I'm
Jamie
painting,
Hayes.
yeah, I'm painting Hellscape. I finally started working on my lava pieces. So right now what I'm doing is I'm finishing doing the white step on these banks. I did some of them a couple days ago, and then I've been in the office all week, so I haven't really been able to finish them. I have a couple finished pieces, actually. I did some plain lava floors as like my initial test, my initial foray into this, and they came out all right. I
Nice.
definitely do not have near the level of detail. I'm not matching. I'm not getting all that close to the factory paint. But but they're usable, and it's helping me get over my fear of painting terrain. So,
All right.
all that matters.
You've painted more of your hellscape than I have of mine.
Yeah, but how much hellscape did you paint when we were doing the Kickstarter?
I mean, sure. But when it's on a deadline, you get over the self-consciousness, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different mindset than your own personal collection.
That's fair.
Probably the toughest terrain to start with, Chris. Yeah, Rabbit's right. It's like, that's really challenging, but first of all, you've improved at painting so much that, like...
Also, unfortunately, I mean, this is the Kickstarter where I started working at Dwarven Forge.
Right? Right.
So this is the first one I have a bunch of to paint.
That's like giving a kid back. Yeah, pets are family, man. Oh, same with the rabbits around Easter. I'll bet people think it's a great gift.
Hey, really?
Yeah, a lot of people get rabbits for gifts at Easter.
Yeah.
For their kids, and then the kids are like, "Oh, it poops. I don't want it."
It's a living thing. Who knew?
It sucks.
Toby undergoing a fur storm. Is there fur all over your sculpt, Toby? Oh, look at his little perch. Look at his little dunk perch. He's so expressive. I love the like texture on his fur, like the little crimpiness of it.
Let's get off now. Yeah, he has curly fur.
Yeah.
Rabbits are very good pets. They're a good amount of work though.
Yeah.
People don't realize that they're more work than like a cat.
Yeah, my cousins and my aunt, they live kind of more in farm country in Minnesota, and they would breed and show rabbits at like the fair. They would breed show rabbits and take care of. They would have like 40 rabbits.
Rabbits are definitely an animal that I didn't understand the pet appeal of rabbits when I was younger. And now I've gotten older and I've gotten to know people who've had like rabbits as pets, and I've seen like more videos and everything. I'm like, oh no, they actually do have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Like they're very funny.
Nope. I'm literally a first storm right now. Shut. That is off.
What's up, Paul? Rabbit, I played paintball this weekend and I have the bruises to prove it.
Wait, you got a paintball game already? You just got that stuff.
Here's the thing. I posted on a Facebook group, like, hey, like, what do people do that, like, live in the city and want to play paintball? And this guy messaged me, and he's like, hey, do you want to be on a team? And I was like, I mean, yeah, but, like, I don't even have all my stuff yet, man. I, like, just ordered it. And he's like, you can borrow mine. And so I went to a team practice last weekend.
Play paintball in New York City.
And we're already talking about, like, national events.
Are you going pro?
I'm going Division 5. Low division.
Well, it was nice having you, Dwarven Forge.
No, it's just weekends. It's just weekends. But I'm excited because I needed a reason. Look, I've done the gym. I can't do the gym, man. I need, like, some motivation to, like, wake up and exercise. Like, even during the week, like, jogging, having the motivation of, like, I want to get my sprint down on the field. I gotta jog. But when it's just for piddly things like, you know, personal long-term health, doesn't do it for me. So I need that motivation. And, you know, it's like midlife crisis sort of thing where I used to do it, and I'm like, oh, I should do that again, man.
Wait, did we remove the wishlist feature from the store, or?
I mean, the store's been undergoing some maintenance,
yeah,
so maybe that happened.
Some of the features we were planning on having aren't in yet.
Yeah.
The collection pages, for whatever reason, were glitching out really hard last night, so she wasn't actually able to put up the entire filter system, really. A couple hours ago, she finally got that part fixed. Tech support helped out. But I think there's still a couple things that are missing from the system that are hopefully going up over the next couple days. Yeah.
You play airsoft? That's
All
cool.
Today is the not fun part of Hellscape. So I'm sorry, not going to be that much fun to watch. But
My paint's taking a long time to dry, so I'm not very fun to watch today either. But I'm trying to look at the chat at least.
Yeah, I'm just doing all the white blocking today.
Do you have light panels, Chris?
I do not. I figured if I needed them, I'd grab them from the office.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So that white step is important if you have light effects you want to do. So
yeah,
that's
so
good.
I want them to be compatible with the light panels just in
Yeah,
case.
yeah. I don't even have light panels. Don't plan on using them, but I'll probably still do it just for that reason. Even if I just get a bulb, you know, I have lights. If I just do something on my own or whatever.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm trying to do the basement of this, or not the basement, but like under the floorboards.
Oh yeah, I see that. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
It's like I'll probably give some ground and maybe like rats or like some like creepy stuff going on in there.
I am very happy that I'm slowing down and doing this right now. 'Cause this week has been a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. Because chaos.
Paul says
Yeah.
biggest complaint about the new website filters, it didn't magically restock all the Underdoom. Yeah.
Hey man, but we've got the Underdoom core coming.
Yeah. The filters do not manufacture inventory, unfortunately.
Then we need better filters.
Yeah, right.
The one upside to how chaotic Build of the Month has been this month is it made us fast track getting the Hellscape core done.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be on my desk.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I'm always happy when I can paint. I mean, color matching honestly can be a little frustrating, but I'm always happy when I got paint on the brush, and that's my job for the week. So.
Oh, she's going ham. There she goes.
Yeah, Rabbit, most of my bruises were from clumsy dives anyway, not necessarily from paintballs.
Oh, man, you're diving in a paintball game?
Yeah, this is like speedball, like tournament
At
layout.
your age?
At my age, yeah, pushing 30, diving on my knees.
Now
I'm going to
that's
break myself.
That's a man's man right there. Hamster, are you and Aaron going to do a Joy of Painting Wildlands before we start getting our chaos orders? Any news about that yet? Yeah, we'll be doing that. So we can't do that until we have like all the paint masters back, basically.
Right.
We know for sure what the factory's going to be doing. Because if we make a Joy of Dwarven Painting video about a set, and then it turns out there's a massive issue and we have to like reset the paint job, then that video's bunk. You know?
Yeah. So as soon as the paint is set, like verified with the factory, then we'll prioritize Joy Dwarven Painting. But we will crank those out as soon as possible. I mean, there's no reason to wait. We want you guys to paint your own painted stuff. So, and there's definitely more priority of like painting some of my smaller stuff, especially in the past. I want to do like some of the miniatures and everything. So definitely start with the Wildlands plants and everything that are some of my favorite things I've done, like that what's the one with like the filament in the middle? The glamour leaf.
Yeah, with the fiber optics.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah, so the good news is getting all the masters back for the bread and butter pieces. Like they're really paint jobs pretty. Like I don't think we've gotten a single forest or mountain piece back where we've been like, they're not able to do the paint scheme. So
Right.
it's looking like it's gonna be okay.
Well, the difference is for Dread Hollow, what we approved and what shipped out was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not over the hump yet.
Doing some batch testing, basically, of having them send us like some production pieces that aren't done by. Because the thing with the paint masters is usually, like generally speaking, those are done by like one of their best painters, and they're just doing like the one.
Yeah, they're like the head painter that coordinates all the other painting, and they're like, "Is this good?" And then the horde of painters, right, is going off of that, but
Yeah, when they're doing mass production and it's a bunch of people instead of
yeah.
one that's like their best. That's what happened with the original Dread Hollow. Was the paint master we got was great. Their lead painter, focusing on just making one of those pieces, came out great. And then it got batch painted for production, and there were dozens of painters making thousands of these pieces, and they couldn't stay consistent, and it was just not good.
Yeah, and that's all part of, like, every Kickstarter is an experiment, right? We always learn new stuff, and we're not in the factory. You don't know if like one painter's running out of their pot of paint and they stretch it out to too many pieces, or it's a Friday, like you just never know. But so this time we're talking with the factory and about that process and like making sure that we quality control like things as they're going. And they're on board with a lot of that stuff. So we're always refining the process and keeping tabs on that and figuring out what works for them and what works for us to make sure that we hit that bullseye.
Yeah. But, I mean, since Dread Hollow and Aaron Thor are kind of just takes on existing paint schemes that they've been replicating in mass production pretty well, I highly doubt we're going to suddenly run into issues with those. Some of, like, the specialty pieces we might need to change things for, but it seems like the bread and butter is probably going to be fine.
And also, the Dread Hollow stuff is some of the most detailed painting that we've done. So, they went for it, and we had to make some adjustments, but they could have just said no. But they're always trying to push themselves, too, so...
Doge to the moon? Yep. So here's the thing. So I backed at like 10 cents a long time ago, and I cashed out when it peaked at like around 40 cents, and when it started going back down, I cashed out, and then when it like hit a low of like 19 or something again, I bought back in. I haven't sold yet, but it's going up high again, so I think I'm doing okay with Doge. I'm not doing a crazy amount of money, so I'm not really gonna like get rich or anything. But it's gonna help me get a new graphics card, so that's good.
Is that gonna be like a real thing?
What?
Like, do besides the top 3 like cryptocurrencies, do they actually survive, or is it actually just a meme?
I think Doge. So I think Ethereum, Bitcoin, and now Doge are the only ones that have really done much. There's a lot of meme currencies that people have been creating now and convincing people to like buy in on, and there's been like some really awful cases of people grifting with them, getting a bunch of people to buy in, and then they cash out and the stock collapses, and all the people they convinced to buy in like get screwed over.
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, I thought you were apologizing for grifting people with cryptocurrency, but Joe's goes to $1,500. I'll be a millionaire. That's only $190 trillion market cap. Wow. Think Doge isn't going to survive for the long run? It's hard to say because Doge is like running almost entirely on meme power.
Like, well, that's Bitcoin, the thing. Like
Bitcoin, I think is going to be okay because Bitcoin was like the cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's kind of my question. It's like, is the meme going to survive to like actually make it sustainable?
I think Doge is the only one that has a chance.
Yeah.
All the other memes are not going to stick around.
I feel like I don't know enough about crypto but I feel like it's different than stocks, since more people have it, then more people have it, the currency, and maybe if it gets more places start using it because of that, then it'll go up. But maybe I don't know enough about crypto at all.
Some of them will get like spikes for sure, but I don't think they'll last very long. Doge's advantage is that it is the original meme coin. Like, it's the one that has been getting all this meme power. And so, people are starting up their own coins and like other things, and they're trying to copy Doge, but like since Doge is the first one that happened with, it's the one that's going to be the most effective.
Was Doge created like before the past year or so? That's when I first started hearing about it, or is it older?
Doge has been around for a long time,
okay.
But like nobody took it seriously, and then suddenly recently it started rising.
Sure. I mean, that was like Bitcoin too. I remember hearing about it in middle school. And people
Yeah.
were like, I just bought some Bitcoins. And I was like, I just bought some Magic cards.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Like Doge is running. Doge might be the only stock that's run almost entirely on irony. And so I don't know. I don't think there's no real precedent for this.
Right.
So I'm not sure what's gonna
I
happen.
mean, GameStop was close, but then that died.
It was so. The game thing was like GME was like almost like a political statement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so that had like a very weird energy to it, and there's some elements of that to Dogecoin, but like, I don't think anybody's trying to make a lot of people bought into GME specifically to try and make a statement, and there was irony and memes to it, but it was like irony with something behind it. Dogecoin just feels like pure irony and pure meme. Like, the fact that it was named Dogecoin, like it's never been a serious thing.
Yeah.
So
Wait, it's with crypto and stuff like that. Like companies can start accepting it, right?
yeah, there are companies that and that's the thing is like more and more companies have been accepting cryptocurrencies. As
Yeah. So with so many people having Doge now, do you think that will and places?
if PayPal starts
taking
opening
it.
up a Dogecoin service, I'm gonna be astounded. PayPal is like the big one, right? Like, PayPal's probably the most universal. Like more than any actual bank, I think PayPal is used by just an absurd amount of people.
Yeah.
Does PayPal do Bitcoin?
I think they do.
Okay.
They do.
I think PayPal takes Bitcoin.
Huh. Oh, sorry. I saw some people asking about this miniature. This is from Gloomhaven.
Oh yeah, the reason we're here.
Yeah, and I never actually said it. So this guy is from the Gloomhaven board game. The class is called a Mind Thief. And I was reading up on it. It's basically like a psychic vermin. They're like vermin folk that are like outcasts. And like nobody will accept them. They live in the shadows and the alleys of like human civilization. And sometimes even befriend actual rat populations in sewers and stuff. And so they're scrappy. They just have like their rusty blades, but they also have developed psychic abilities. So that's why might be hard to see, but he kind of has his fingers on his forehead, and there'll be sort of a glowing effect, like he's doing some sort of psychic attack.
I want to play a Ratatouille one shot.
Are you the rat or are you the chef?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's like a gun and slinger. Oh my god, gun and slinger.
A Ratatouille gun and
Gun and slinger, mouse and chef. A two-player RPG. Let's go.
Okay, but isn't Ratatouille just a mecha about cooking?
That's true. I guess it would be Mech and Pilot.
Yeah.
Linguini is a Gundam.
In my current game,
I can't get over how stupid his name is. Alfredo Linguini. Seriously.
Topula says Ratatouille. Pew pew.
Yeah.
In my current game, there was some like ring that we picked up or something, or like pair of rings, and me and another PC in our group, we became bonded where like one of us was body movements and the other one was the voice, and we like thought simultaneously in the same consciousness. So like I would say something, and if they disagreed, they would just like punch someone in the face randomly. Like, it was very, very unique experience.
Mecha Iron Chef.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, I imagined a big mech with the chef's head and the apron.
Iron Chef Man.
Yeah, I never actually played Gloomhaven. I just am painting these for someone else.
That'd be a fun Melee monthly thing.
What's that?
It'd be a fun Melee monthly thing.
Like some sort of goofy one-shot?
No, Gloomhaven.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't looked into the. I don't know much beyond like, you're kind of playing D&D and the game itself is the DM, sort of. Is how it works.
Yeah. It could be a fun thing to play around with, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to get a copy of it. I don't have it, but
Man, when we get the new streams going, I really do want to set up a. I want to use Gun and Slinger to test some of that stuff.
well, that's the cool thing about our Twitch is like it's our experimental realm, and we can try a bunch of cool, weird stuff.
I'm excited to finally get to start doing all the stuff that we had planned on doing before we had to quarantine.
Yeah.
All these shows we had to cancel. I was talking to Nate about starting to reach out to people, influencers, other creators that live in New York, about coming in and doing some of those guest-centric shows that we wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, especially we're like with the reorg, we're even making that production space even more sacred, and like we can maybe set up some new infrastructure for guests and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the expansion's going to help a lot. I can't believe we're expanding again.
Well, we're kind of just taking advantage of the opportunity that they haven't gotten someone else to pay for that room.
Yeah, we're going to own the whole floor at some point.
Right. Yeah, we almost have the whole floor of our office space right now, guys.
I mean, as long as we get rid of the people next door. Then
it's literally us and then fashion designers on our floor.
Get them to make our merch. Absorb them.
Apparently, they're a big name brand. I don't know what brand it is, but that's what I heard.
Huh.
We've been next door to Gucci the entire time.
They have been our neighbors the whole time, I think.
I need to tell them how much the work. Yeah, they've been in the building as long as we have.
Yeah.
I need to tell them how much the work means to me. I don't know, if they designed the Nintendo World clothing, I'm gonna lose my mind, because that's probably the most influential fashion has ever been for me. Or if they designed the Monster Hunter Uniqlo shirts.
Is that
I tried to submit a design for one of the Uniqlo contests once.
Yeah.
That's fun, but I didn't.
Well, you used to do a lot of t-shirts, right?
Yeah, I used to do that a lot, but I want to kind of get back into it, but I don't know if I have that drive.
Design Fork and Forge shirts.
I thought about it, but I just I need to think about I like doing logos type of thing. I like doing the graphic and stuff, but I don't know. I always felt it's difficult to make something work. But then again, I was thinking of it back when Stefan was doing it. It was do a metal shirt. It's and Janet did a much better version of that. So
yeah. Man. I'm really bad at visual art, but I'm really good at telling people to make stuff.
My main platform of doing the art is now dead, so I used to do all my shirt designs in Adobe Flash.
Oh, nice. Rest in peace.
Yeah, because I like the vector aspect of it, and it was much easier to control than Illustrator for me. But it's dead.
It's dead.
Okay, this bank is basically done with the white step. Call the police. Here we go. So a couple little holes that I need to fill in, and then this is good. Man. Cannot believe Aaron figured out how to do all this.
Yeah, the Hellscape scheme is nuts. Really cool result.
Yeah. I think the Hellscape is some of the most impressive stuff to drop down on the table.
Just like the blending in the lava is really cool.
Local game store wants me to run live D&D games at a store. We have a couple people in the community that do that. Andy Demps, he's on the Discord. He runs games professionally. Who else runs games? We have a number of people who run games for game shops and conventions. Mostly because like our audience, like our customer base is just like a lot of DMs and creative types. So it's the kind of people that we tend to hear from. Tell them to pay you. But to do that and record them and edit them down, how to be able to share that with you guys. A lot of people just upload stuff to YouTube and share it in the Discord or tweet it at us, stuff like that. We try to monitor all of our socials. We're a small team, so sometimes some stuff slips by, but we try to pay attention to everything. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Nice. Everybody's sending me updates on projects right now. Just checking to make sure we're all okay.
At 7:13.
Well, a lot of them are people on the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we say that, but most of our updates go out like past 7.
That is true. We also tend to work till like midnight. Forgot you guys were in New York. Yeah, baby. We're one of the only like D&D companies in New York instead of LA, which is frustrating sometimes when we try to work with people, but you know, is what it is.
You know who is here though? Well, this isn't D&D, but Kingdom Death is here, and they make awesome miniatures. I don't own any of them, and I wish
would
I did.
actually love to if we can get in touch with them.
Yeah,
dude, Kingdom Death would be a lot of fun to collaborate with.
I talked to people back then when Stefan ran a game at 20-sided. A couple people working at Kingdom Death were there, so talked to a bunch of them. I was eventually supposed to go visit their factory, but that never really got a chance to happen.
No, they would not? You don't think we would want to work with Kingdom Death, Topulus? But they have such cool minis. Really bad at project. Oh, I don't mean like to collaborate with like on a project necessarily, but just like to bring them on for a stream or something to play some weird game.
that is true though. Like their stuff is never in stock, and like, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, but like.
No, for sure, for just fun collaboration, for sure.
You know, them who live in already half broken houses should not fire like stone machine guns. Like we can't really get on people for being out of stock.
Yeah.
Like,
oh right. Right.
Yeah. It's like when B Dave gets back to me, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm like running a little late on this thing." I'm like, "Dude, if far be it from Dwarven Forge to complain about somebody being behind schedule on something."
True. Wait, Topulus, which one are they 5 years late on? I thought.
Oh.
How many?
Well, yeah. So I mean, maybe we wouldn't do a project collaboration necessarily, but I don't know. Just we'd like to bring in. We had a lot of stream ideas that we wanted to do, where we would have people come into the studio and like do build jams and stuff like that, and other kind of fun, like competition style streaming things.
Yeah,
but then quarantine happened and we weren't able to do any of that. So it'd be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love that. Is Kingdom Death Monster 1.5. How many expansions are there? Kingdom Death Monsters, like, doesn't that include the core game? I don't know. I've been wanting to look out for it because I love the miniatures, but I would probably never play the game.
They do have some sick looking minis, yeah. I don't really
I
care
was
about
supposed to go play
the
with my friends at some point, but never got to. He said he liked the system a lot.
Oh, nice.
You guys have done 4 Kickstarters since their last one? Oh. 4 Kickstarters. So that goes back to Dungeon of Doom?
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
Wildlands, Hellscape, Caverns Deep, Dungeon of Doom. So their last Kickstarter was before Dungeon of Doom? Huh. I don't know. We'll see. I just want friends in New York for us to play with.
Well, you could have stopped earlier in that sentence, and I would agree.
Yeah. Dude, you're gonna be living close again.
I'm so pumped to be nearby,
Come over and
man.
play Breath of the Wild, or play Age of Calamity with me, which is the co-op Hyrule Warriors style game based on Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
play that. You got it?
nice.
What's that?
I want to play that. You have it?
Yeah, I've been playing it
try
a
that.
lot lately.
Yeah.
I've done the story, now I'm doing all like the post-game content, and there's so much. But it is definitely more fun to play with people than alone. I mean, it's a Warriors game, you know.
Yeah.
Miles and I
Sometime
played a
try.
lot of the original Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
Because the original Hyrule Warriors came out when Miles was still living with me, so we played a lot of that co-op. It was a lot of fun.
Your place was still the first time I played Breath of the Wild.
Have you played it since?
Yeah, but I'm bad at completing games. I didn't complete it, but I did enjoy it.
You do still have a profile on my Switch.
I do?
Yep, from that
Nice.
day you came over and started Breath of the Wild, and then never came over again.
Well, yeah, because I moved to Manhattan and was depressed, so I didn't talk to anyone that I met in Brooklyn for like a year.
Yeah, moving to Manhattan does that to you, man.
Yeah.
That's why I got out of Manhattan.
Right. But then, credit to you, even though you hadn't talked to me in ages, you just randomly messaged me like, literally no small talk before. You're just like, hey, you want to come play Breath of the Wild? And I was like, yeah. And then I was there. It was awesome.
And what, you didn't invite him again, Chris?
I was pleasantly surprised by that message.
I live in the middle of the woods in Pennsylvania, so I don't have anyone to socialize with. There's probably some serial killers nearby that you could you go out into the woods and hang out with them.
Right.
I don't know how good they'd be at socializing.
You'd probably get a story out of it.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a great story, honestly. In fact, I'm sure there'd be a lot of podcasts about you meeting those serial killers.
Right.
In a couple of years.
Yeah.
How do you plan to paint the Dwarvenite vein on the Hellscape Trifecta pieces? I'm thinking of dry brush of... Oh, I honestly don't even know. I haven't done any of the pieces that have that yet. Doing interference would make a lot of sense, though. Interference gold or interference green-orange? With the green-orange, is it the green that stands out more? Because if the green stands out more, I feel like that would pop really well in Hellscape. The orange, I don't... If it's the orange that... Isn't there a green-blue interference? Maybe I would do green-blue.
You honestly have more of the colors than I know about.
I've got 8 interference paints, I think.
Wow. Good night, Rabbit. Thanks for hanging out.
Come here, Rabbit.
I grab it. Yeah, I love the interference paints. They're some of my
super
go-tos.
cool.
I use them for almost everything at this point. Somebody did a really sick interference like coat over their dungeon tiles
Oh, wow.
and gave it like this really interesting, like kind of otherworldly sheen. I'm like, yeah, now this reads like some kind of like really creepy temple. Like,
Wow.
it's like it was a really good idea.
I don't see that.
It's in the Discord. I'll try to find the pictures. I feel like I'd have a better time talking to a bear. To be fair, bears are really funny when they're not trying to kill you. Like, bears are like very naturally funny creatures. But you know, there's the whole them trying to kill you part that you'd want to avoid.
Right.
man, dude, bears rubbing up on trees. That's some of the funniest stuff in existence. I don't care who you are. Anytime a bear starts scratching its back against a tree, I'm gonna have a good time. Man, the white face really does make this look like crusty cheese.
Oh, I'm too hungry for that. Don't tell me
Just
that.
like brie that you're breaking apart a bit, so you see like the cheese underneath. Like,
Yeah, the fancy cheese. God, I haven't eaten dinner yet. I just remember.
I haven't had like a fancy cheese in a while.
Dude, that sounds so good right now. Just like the charcuterie plate, like crackers and cheese and meat.
Next time I'm in the office, I think I'm gonna get that brie sandwich.
Ooh.
They have across the street, because like
I miss
they're really good sandwiches.
Yeah.
And there's a brie one that's phenomenally good.
I miss the burrata salad that we used to get from. You know what I'm talking about?
I would eat for free when I worked at the pizza place.
What?
I worked at an upscale pizza place before I started working at Dwarven Forge full time.
You
When I
forgot
was,
Dwarven Forge?
you guys, I was like doing weekends at this kind of fancy pizza place.
Yeah.
Just to like get out of the house mostly. It was like how I supplemented my income, because I'd be doing freelance editing and film production during the week. And then on the weekends I would go in and do some shifts there, and like that would cover my rent. And so then whatever I made doing production would be everything else outside of like rent and utilities. But then I started doing enough at Dwarven Forge that I was like, I really don't want to do customer service anymore. So instead I'm doing the front-facing, listening to everything that people say about us online aspect of Dwarven Forge to get out of customer service.
So you gotta have your customer service to your social customer service.
I think it's just like dealing with something that I'm like passionate about. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty passionate about pizza.
Amen.
Not about giving it to other people necessarily.
More so consuming it.
Yeah, and there were things about food service that I did enjoy. I like when it would be like a high pressure kind of problem solving environment when we had to seat like a ton of people, because the place got pretty busy. It's like a very popular neighborhood spot, and there was something about that. Like I liked feeling like not many people would be able to like handle that situation, and it felt like needed, which was man, I let myself wind up in a lot of unhealthy work situations because I like feeling needed, which means I let myself get taken advantage of a lot.
And restaurants will definitely take advantage of that.
Oh, restaurants will do that hard. That place actually did it a lot less than other places, which I like. Like that place actually wasn't like exploitative at all. It was probably the healthiest restaurant environment I ever worked in.
Nice.
Which is why I stayed there so long, and like why when I went freelance I still like did like weekend things there. Is it was like I genuinely enjoyed working with the people there, and it was a much better situation than restaurants I had done before. But man, restaurants I had done before, I got into just really bad situations, like health-wise, with the expectations they expected out of you, and meanwhile, like how little weight a lot of other people would be carrying.
Yeah.
A lot of that, like, well, you're the reliable ones. We're actually gonna like expect you to get everything done because we know that these other people aren't actually gonna pull their weight, so we don't expect it of them, and it's okay that they don't do their job because we don't expect them to anymore. Which is not a great situation to be in, turns out. So, yeah, that place did not have a lot of that going on, which was very nice. But there was another place where, for not much more than minimum wage, I was like carrying all of the busiest shifts by myself because the rest of the hosting staff, they literally didn't trust anybody else to be able to do it. And I was like, then fire them and hire people who can do it. Like, instead of me like literally never being able to not. I don't know. Morgan Ford customer service are among my favorite people. Oh, Dwarven Forge customer service are among. It was talk to text.
Hey, that's me now.
Yeah, Hamster's actually in the customer service crew now.
only a little bit. It's mostly I don't carry all the weight like Chris is talking about. I don't carry. I'm not a weight. I'm not a carry.
We have a very strong customer service team, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd say Chuck and Casey are probably the biggest parts of it.
Oh yeah, and like people just actually care about like the customer experience and like people enjoying the stuff, and you know, like
Yeah.
they actually give crap.
But like Mason and Hamster both help out with customer service. And you know, like the whole team like helps out with like answering certain questions and everything. Like if something comes through and it's like this is really this person's area of expertise, like they'll answer it and whatever. But actually fielding the emails, Hamster and Mace help out. But I think Casey and Chuck are the main customer service people.
Definitely, yeah. Chuck is a man. Yeah, he's also great too when people are just like, I don't know, this is my idea, like what should I buy?
Community
Chuck
and
is
outreach.
yeah.
Community and outreach management is a kind of good descriptor of some of the stuff that I do.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's weird. It's interesting because like so much of what we do at Dwarven Forge is kind of amorphous. Like,
Right.
it's a lot less of slotting into a set purpose. Like, oh, here's a Craigslist ad to like hire this role, and it's more like, hey, this might be a good thing to do, and somebody says I'll do that, or somebody's like, hey, I think we need this, and I'll put in the time to do it.
Right.
So like a lot of the job title stuff is ever shifting as, you know, we kind of change the stuff that we're doing. But yeah, I think some form of community management and outreach is definitely at least an aspect of my job at this point.
Definitely. What about Jay? Yeah, he is very helpful with customers too, and a lot of times if we have questions, they go to Jay.
Yeah, Jay is the CFO?
Yeah, or equivalent.
Yeah. He has final say in a lot of things and kind of oversees a lot of operations.
Hey, Band of Badgers, how are ya? Thanks for the raid.
And the Badgers! Hey, how you doing?
I was just admiring the mini I painted with you guys last time.
The one that didn't win the competition. Because they wouldn't let you be in the competition.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, thanks, Disco.
With an extra magnet, probably a complete coincidence. oh, you wanted to know if they could do a single magnet? Probably.
I'm pretty sure that we've done that. Definitely send an email. The quickest way is to just get that ticket started, but I'm pretty sure we sometimes just get like a batch of magnets for that purpose.
Yeah, we have like boxes of little odds and ends for stuff like that. Like, man, I think we have a bunch of extra rods.
Yeah, all those fiddly bits we have like extras lying around.
Light panel connectors, all that jazz.
Definitely next time. Well, yeah, I'm definitely hoping I can get back on there another time because that was fun. How did your game go, Chris, with Badgers?
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate the internet decided not to cooperate.
Oh, sure.
We ended up having to record most of it offline, or like half of it offline.
Oh, okay.
It was fun though. The rolls were awful to me. Like man, everything I tried to do just did not work out until like the very end. There were like some fun cinematic moments, and
yeah,
it was fun. It was nice to get back to Pathfinder because I hadn't been able to do it in a very long time. Yeah, it was a fun character. Just got jabbed and broke the internet. That's what it was. It's there's too much interference from my from my microchip. Kept bringing down the connection. man. I'm so excited to have all this hellscape done. I say all this hellscape as though I've made a significant dent. I've done like 8 basic floors at this point, basically. And then this stuff right here. That's all I've done, but like, I did these.
Oh, nice. Those are great.
Yeah. And so, oh yeah, I have some of the jumpy stones too. But yeah. I tried to do a yellow gradient, like, coming out from the top, but it didn't read at all. I think I didn't go strong enough, so I might go back over it and try to do that. You rode an ancient white dragon. I did. I was a terrible customer service rep. I'm much better in IT. The main thing for me when it comes to anything forward-facing with customers is, like, it's gotta be something I actually care about. I cannot do sales for something I don't care about. Like, my family, when I was a kid, started doing one of those, like, pyramid schemes, basically, honestly. They were, like, selling insurance, and it was this whole thing of, like, yeah, we're gonna train you, you can go out and, like, you know, hook people up on insurance. I'm like, I'm 18. I don't understand life insurance, more, like, nor am I, like, in any sense, like, passionate about it. So, like, the idea of, like, trying to sell it to people, when I barely understood it myself, like, I couldn't do it. Like, it was, I can't pretend to want to sell people on something I don't actually believe in.
I mean, there's also a difference than like not
Actually, passionate about this.
Rather than when you know it's like a scheme.
Yeah, especially that. Like, that's the thing is also like, you know, and I was 18 at the time, so it's not like I was gonna like say, hey, I think what we're doing is unethical. But you know, but yeah, that's what makes this thing so much easier. It's way easier for me to talk to customers about these pieces because I genuinely do think that we make really good stuff, and so I have no problem like talking honestly. Because that's the thing is like I can't be dishonest about it, you know. And like I genuinely think our stuff's good enough that like yeah, I'll talk about like the downsides of our pieces and stuff that doesn't work well. Because I also think that we're going to make efforts to improve those things and all that. Like I don't feel ethically concerned about pushing our product.
Right. Yeah, my first job was in a hardware store, and they would make me like try to sell extended warranties and stuff. And like, yeah.
Nowhere, like, who's gonna need this? Who's gonna go like, oh, the head fell off my hammer 4 years later?
Right. Actually, it's funny because we had our store brand of like power tools or whatever. They're just like pieces of crap, so they would get returned all the time. And then one summer for the big state fair, I worked in the warehouse, like assembling these wagons that they would sell mountains of at the state fair. But so in the break room for lunch one time, we were watching The Price is Right, as was tradition every day. And the big prize was a collection of our store brand of tools, and we all started laughing because people are cheering. We're like, "This is a bunch of bull BS" on that table. Like,
oh, no.
It was hilarious because they're just like, "Oh, power tools, right?" It's like, yeah, the crappiest versions you can get.
Yeah, the word power is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really unfortunate. I was with one of the restaurants is one of the ones I worked in was like a celebrity restaurant where then he started like kind of coasting on it. Like he was on a couple cooking shows and got like some fame there, and that was enough to like kind of get his restaurants going. And then he just kind of started coasting. He didn't do anything for a very long time, and his name started wearing off. And people stopped coming in, and he wasn't making the money he was making before. And so they started raising the prices and also getting cheaper, worse ingredients. And so the food started getting authentically worse, and they were charging more for it. And like,
dang.
Yeah, so like I would feel bad about it. 'Cause it's like I don't want to push people to like come like. When somebody complains about like how we're doing this, it's like, yeah, you're right, we are doing this. Like I don't want to like try and smooth over this, like, you know, manipulative thing that we're doing.
Right.
So I don't know. Like instead of just like when the response was like instead of like actually improving the food or improving our marketing or anything, because we also did like no marketing. Like instead of doing anything to actually like improve the business, it was just like, okay, raise the prices and lower the quality.
Like, market it as the same thing.
Yeah, like, I don't like that at all. So I don't know. But all those restaurants are shut down now because turns out that strategy didn't work. It just made people stop going. But yeah. That actually was the last job I had before I went freelance.
I remember you talking about that place.
I did, while I was doing like 5-6 days a week there, I did a casting director I knew wanted to make a masterclass series, but he had a very tight budget, and so I produced and then ran the set and all that jazz, just this masterclass, and then did all the editing for it, and it paid really well. And I was looking at that and I'm like, you know, I've got enough money to cover my rent for a few months without even doing anything right now. I'm miserable at this place that's like swallowing all my creative time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go freelance now. I'm gonna take these couple months to try and like set up like some recurring clients as an editor and pick up some more production gigs and just have time to actually like make my own stuff, and it's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Service will crush your soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, you still with some awful people there sometimes. Oh well. We're getting pretty close to done with this one.
There's also two unfortunate moments that I remember from when I worked at Mel's with Miles.
Oh man, we're doxing him. Let's go.
No, very, very grateful for the job. It was my first job in New York.
Somebody clip this and send it to him.
But this guy, we had like just kind of average American bar food, and well, their burgers were their thing. So if you weren't getting a burger, it was like, but so this guy.
Imagine going to that place for a salad.
Well, right, he was like wanted wings, and we just kind of had like hot or barbecue, and this guy said, "Well, how are you know, these wing flavors?" And I looked at him. I said, "Well, I'm more of a sweet guy than a hot guy, but you could probably tell just by looking at me." And then he just stared at me. he just like deliberately looked up and looked me in the eye, and then looked back down at his menu.
That's really good though.
Yeah. And they also had, the other one is they also had milkshakes, and one of the flavors was called a ghost shake. And so when they order one, before they bring it out in like the metal, you know, blender thing, and so you put a shake glass on the table before it comes out. And so you know, I made some joke when I brought the glass out, like, hey, so there's actually ice cream in there, but remember, it's a ghost shake, so... And they didn't laugh. And I was so sad. I was like, I thought that was pretty good.
It's alright. Dude, I completely understand not being appreciated for the comedic genius you are in your time. The good news is, once we die, everybody's going to realize how good we were.
They're going to remember the milkshake joke.
No, they'll remember the milkshake joke. That's how that stuff works.
Yeah.
You know? Truly great artists are never appreciated in their time. If somebody says...
And you are able to understand the how, Chris?
What's up? What's that?
I said you're able to understand this how, Chris?
Well, because nobody thinks I do a good job now, so I don't know. You know. Basically, if somebody compliments you now, you're bad. gotta wait until you're
Oh.
dead.
So you're asking for a compliment, pretty much right now.
Yes.
Well, I
That's
still
right.
think about Uncle Gareth, and that's genuine.
I need to just do the launch party for that thing.
Yeah.
I need to just like officially release it. I've had it uploaded and ready to release for a long time, but I've gotten so sidetracked with all this extra stuff at Dwarven Forge. I need to take the time to just release my movie.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Dr. Icer. I appreciate that. Dr. Icer would have laughed at the milkshake joke. I mean, come on.
It's a good one. It's authentically a good one. I'm not just saying that. Man, hitting all of the spots with white.
It is a tedious
It's
step.
just a lot. It's just a lot. It's the most time-consuming step by far.
Yeah.
Did a test. Interference green orange is green head on and orange at an angle. Ooh. Let me check what the different colors are. Am I light checking? No. I'm gonna let it just be bad when I actually need it to count, you know? I'm just gonna let myself be disappointed.
John says, I told my wife no more milkshakes. I was tired of chasing all them damn boys out of my yard. Hey, sometimes there's a certain point you got to put your foot down, John, you know?
Yeah, so I checked. The other two, like, two-tone interference are blue-green and violet-green. I feel like... So blue-green I feel like would stand out from any angle, basically, because both blue and green should stand out against, like, a hellscape backdrop. Violet-green... The violet is darker in tone, so it kind of blend in with the black stone around it a bit, I think. But then, you know, the green would really pop. I guess the orange would kind of make it seem, you know, lava related, so maybe the orange actually is the way to go.
I'd buy that.
It's tough. I feel like all three of them have like a... I mean, no matter what, you're getting green, right? But the blue-green would be... If the naming convention holds up, it would be blue head-on and then green from an angle. And then violet-green would be violet head-on and green from an angle. Oh, man, that's a really tough call, actually. I don't know what I would do.
What are you trying to add?
Merc's talking about doing the Dwarvenite veins on the
Oh, yeah.
trifecta pieces with an interference paint to make them kind of have a two-tone. And so they just tested the green-orange, which makes the Dwarvenite vein green head-on, and then if you look at it from an angle, it's orange. Which does have an appeal to it, for sure. When are the new city rune sets going to be orderable? We're planning on having those hit the store. I think those ones are hitting the store around August, is what we're expecting.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Basically, of those reconfigurations, we're anticipating August for all of them except for the dungeons reconfigurations, because those weren't ordered at the same time, and we're actually we're having to resculpt some stuff for the classic dungeon stuff, so That's going to take some tooling time by the factory, so that's not going to be able to be ordered for a bit. But we're hoping to have them all by the end of the year. So everything except for the dungeons ones should be August. Of course, that also depends on shipping, which has been hard to predict and very messy because of the pandemic still going on. But that's our estimation. Who knows? Maybe somebody will get their boat stuck again, and everything will go back into chaos. And imagine being that
Our
guy.
boat's stuck right now.
What's up?
Sorry.
Do you have any tips for painting details and minifigures? Oh, do we? That's like most of what we do here. Oh, that's what you're asking, y'all. Personally, Merc, I would want to see the blue-green because I think it would stand out the most, and I think it feels the most like what you would actually get from an ore. I think the violet-green is an interesting thing too, though. I think the green-orange is actually the combination I'd be less interested in Hellscape, just because there's already going to be a lot of orange in the terrain, so I feel like it wouldn't pop as much from an angle. But that also might give it a kind of hidden effect until you look at it right. Man. I think I would go green-orange. Or I think I would go violet-green. Because violet complements orange really well. Or purple complements orange really well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Kind of leans cool in a really warm scheme.
Yeah. You ever seem to get the eyes right on my minifigs? Dude, eyes are what I'm worst at by far when it comes to minis.
So if you want more control, probably the biggest thing is to have many points of contact physically. So you have your elbows on the table, you have your wrists together, and then now look at my brush. If I'm just freewheeling it up here, I'm not going to have control. But if I'm anchored like this, and I have elbows anchored, look at that's 3 points of contact. And here's a fourth, my finger on the handle, and then I have really precise contact. If I'm just like going on air, it's not as precise. But right now my wrist is on the table, my finger is here, all those points of contact. Probably also have less paint on your brush, like base coating. You can kind of have a full brush load, but you really only want to fill. You want to fill like less than a quarter of the brush. If you're doing eyes, literally just have a dot on your brush at the end, and give it a poke, a couple pokes, and then get new paint because the small amount is already dry and it's not going to do you any good. On the tip of your brush, it's already dry because it's such a small amount. Play with the dilution because you want to make it easy for yourself for what you're doing to like make sure the paint is coming off the way you want it to, right? Like if you're doing an eye, you don't want it to be so thick that like not enough actually comes off when you hit it, but you don't want it to be so thin that when you hit the eye it floods, right? So you got to play with those things. Yeah. But the biggest point for accuracy for things like eyes is those points of contact. Elbows, wrists, finger. Put it on a handle if you don't put it on a handle. That's why you have all these points that you can anchor your fingers on, and that'll help you.
There's also a lot of very talented mini painters in the chat. Our Discord, our Discord and Twitch community has a lot of painters, and most people who watch these streams are painters, and a lot of them do stuff a lot better than me.
Better than me too.
What's up?
I said better painters than me too. There's some crazy painters in the Discord. So if you're not on the Discord, definitely check that out.
Yeah. And they also probably have a lot of good tips too.
Yeah. And practice, yeah. Part of it is just getting over the fear, right? It's like try doing the eyes the way that you want, and you might not get exactly right, and just move on to the next mini and try it again.
Oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Of You know what I hate about that? About Tom's Diner?
What?
That Fall Out Boy sampled it for no reason in one of their songs, and now whenever I hum Tom's Diner, all the Zoomers think that I'm doing Fall Out Boy. Makes no sense either. I have no idea why they sampled Tom's Diner. It comes out of nowhere in the song. It doesn't do anything to enhance it. It's very frustrating.
Right.
Would not recommend.
Also, Deno made a good point about eye placement. Eyes don't look in a direction, they focus on something. That's really interesting. Yeah, so if you put both pupils right in the center, it looks off. Yeah, some of the coolest eyes that I've done are when just the pose is sort of leading for them, like looking to the side. And I think that's why, is to make them look right, you kind of have to position them so that both eyes are looking in the same direction. And sometimes if they're just looking straight ahead, you kind of can drift the pupils. So that's a really good point. Also, what I like to do for eyes, this might be a lot to take in at once, but like if you paint the eye socket with like a fleshy color, make it a bigger area, expand it, because it's going to look decent if you just sort of do a natural looking fleshy like magenta sort of color around the eye socket, like the pocket, all the way up to the brow almost, right? And then you can place the whites and the pupil in there, and you can always patch it with the fleshy color, but it gives you a bigger area. It gives you kind of a bigger target to play within. So if you set those limits with like this whole entire socket, it'll be less intimidating, at least in my experience. And then it will read better because you will see sort of around the eye, you'll see the sort of pink bits, and it's a cool effect.
So, question then: do you think that because like art where the character has like magic and their eyes are glowing a certain color, or they don't have a pupil, is that just because they couldn't draw or paint the eyes correctly to make it look like it wasn't creepy?
That's why I do the vaporwave.
Yeah, I have definitely, when I'm fatigued on a model, I've definitely done glowing eyes instead of real eyes because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Really, though, the biggest thing is just to not worry about getting it right at first, Like, just don't... You're never going to get it done at any capacity if you never actually just paint the thing. So... Right.
Yeah, that's why I never repaint stuff.
Survive no matter what ends up happening to the... No matter what ends up happening to your model, you're gonna live. So
right.
You gotta do it. You can't stop yourself. Fear is the mini killer.
Right. So to be fair, this miniature, I was instructed to do it based on the box art, which had glowing eyes. But this is a good example of sort of a sideward glance. Kind of adds a bit of realism because you kind of have to make it look like they're focusing. And honestly, at a certain angle, they might be a little bit off anyway. But on the front view, it's a good example of that side eye.
Paint bravely to borrow a gooberism. I believe Goober actually stops by here.
Yeah, that's wild. It's been a while, but it's that was nuts. It came.
Yeah. I don't know why I got I don't know why I got stuck in my head. It's been LCD sound system like for the last week, but for some reason today it's Tom's Diner. Not even today, like earlier today it was LCD.
You mean Fall Out Boy?
Started. What's up?
You mean Fall Out Boy?
What?
Well, what was the thing that sampled Tom's Diner?
I'm confused.
Never mind. I was trying to make a joke that you're saying how the Zoomers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
just remember my little brothers being like, "Why are you singing Fall Out Boy?" I'm like, I don't know the Fall Out Boy. I don't know Fall Out Boy. They played me the song, and it literally comes out of nowhere. Doesn't tie into the song. I hate it. I hate it so much.
YouTuber said her rule is to not bother painting eyes unless a sculpt has a sculpted eyeball. That can be true. I mean, I think I don't necessarily agree. Like, a banner doesn't often have sculpted detail, but you can freehand on it, right? It's just a really small area, so you can make a convincing effect, just like a traditional painting is a 2D. But especially for gaming models, you don't always have to paint the eyes. You know, they're on the table. You're not always going to see them. And so that's why I grabbed this mini, because especially his pose, like he kind of is looking down on his bow, and I didn't even touch the eyes, and you can kind of hardly tell because just the way the pose is, and it almost is like if you just do kind of a dark area under the brow like that sort of naturally happens as you layer up and do washes and stuff. It can be just fine. I like how this model turned out without the eyes. So, especially for stuff that is meant for the tabletop, you don't always even have to do the eyes. I just kind of like to at least do a little bit of a dark pocket, like the brooding brow sort of look.
The brooding brow is like a really good name for a tavern or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Stop with the Fallout Boy.
What's up?
Stop with the Fallout Boy.
I'm sorry. Miles is like actually super into Fall Out Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he like authentically loves all Fall Out Boy. Sometimes just the wash is enough. I want to do eyes. What I tend to do is if minis have like a really heavy set brow, I tend to like put a dark wash under it and just like let the shadows like kind of imply that there's something going on there.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I wonder if a style kind of like the Ragecraft sculpts sometimes have a really nice defined eye. I haven't looked at those in particular, but they kind of have that vibe to me. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember what I did for the eyes. I think for all of the orcs, I did the dark wash thing.
Yeah.
Because they've all got like very heavy set brows. I think I did that for the Inquisitor Knight as well. Man, I love Ragecraft sculpts.
Yeah, you got me sold on them with the stuff that you've gotten.
They don't have like a huge catalog, but everything they have is very, very solid. Not all of it is stuff that works for my campaign, but like I'll find ways to work a lot of it in. We've used the Inquisitor Knight twice now. Because I did his armor up in the style of the Knights of the Sapphire Heart, which are like a recurring kind of group. And so every time we fight like a leader of the Knights of the Sapphire Heart, we basically always drop him on the table because like he's a very, very cool sculpt. He looks very imposing. And
That's awesome.
I did some fun interference stuff. They have a lot of really good armor details and I don't know. Very, very good stuff. Big fan of Ragecraft. They're very nice as well. After like my third purchase, they sent me like an email just saying like, "Hey, just wanted to say we've noticed you've been buying like multiple times from the store and we appreciate it."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc.
Forge minis that I 3D printed at school, and I found that the eyes tend to get a little lost in the print. Yeah. Well, Hero Forge, you're not going to get details as crisp as what you're going to get from companies that aren't like. Whenever you have something be like custom like that, you're sacrificing a little bit of detail and specificity, you know?
Yeah,
like
they have to make like an economical quality.
Like for example, our sculpts are very detailed, But if our sculptors didn't have to worry about our pieces being modular, they could go way further with those details and make like even more specifically, just like really cool things if they didn't have to worry about them working with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So with Hero Forge, because all those things have to be able to like swap in and out, they can only really give them so much character, and yeah. So the eyes aren't as crisp as what you're going to get from a lot of minis, where like they've made this sculpt and that's all this sculpt is this mini that has like a very clear, almost narrative to its own sculpt.
Yeah, there's definitely a trade-off. Like, yeah, Hero Forge is great for the customization and really personalizing your character, and
it's one of the best things you can do for PCs, just because you can literally make whatever your PC.
But like you say, it's digital. It's a trade-off where you're just not gonna get the detail that the companies with their in-house sculpting and technology are gonna get. It's just kind of the nature of it.
Yeah.
Doctor, I'm glad you said you'll definitely experiment, because here's the thing about any tip, any YouTube video. The paints you have have different qualities from different brands. Your brushes, each brand of brush that you have has different qualities. Each miniature, that's what we were talking about, has different qualities. So really the best thing as you experiment is how to achieve what you envision with the materials you have, right? You don't always have to go out and buy the specific paints that the people in videos are using, but you have to figure out how to get the result using the quality of the materials that you have. Reaper with a raid of 250 people. Holy smokes.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Reaper. Thanks, Reaper. That's awesome. All of a sudden, it was Emote City over here.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much. Today? Yeah, what were you working on? Ed says hi.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's great. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Reaper's painting streams have actually been very helpful for me.
Yeah.
They're usually streaming when I'm at the office, and I'm like working on like emails, or when I'm like writing like supplements or something, and it's something where I'm just like at my laptop the whole time. Most of the time they're streaming like kind of during the times that I'm at the office, so I'll just like listen to those.
Yeah, I see them kind of that daytime too. Wait, Valandar said Ed says hi and that elves rule, dwarves drool. Get out of my stream.
All right, gotta start banning people. Hang on.
Not only is this Dwarven Forge, but dwarves were my first miniature painting love in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, okay? I glued them together with Elmer School glue, I didn't prime them, and I painted them without, and then all peeled off.
Reaper Rocks, best mini company. This is actually something I was talking about earlier, but when it came to kind of like starting to build our community, when we started reaching out on Twitch and Discord and stuff like that, I honestly looked at Reaper a lot, because I'm very impressed with how well Reaper, especially considering the size that Reaper has gotten to in terms of like, yeah, they are like one of, if not like the mini company when it comes to buying like monsters and NPCs and stuff like that. They've got like they're a very large company at this point, just in terms of like how many people know them and like how many people buy it, and yet they're still very in touch with their community, and I find that very impressive. It's very few companies that manage to reach their level of success and still be so like artist focused.
Yeah.
And like actually like cultivate like a really healthy community. I actually have kind of looked up to Reaper's like community, and we've like trying to like build our own kind of our own digital community, basically.
Valandar, we were just talking about painting eyes. That's impressive. Emily was going to ship over here anyway, so there you go.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to think about it.
I guess we'll go a bit later tonight.
Yeah, might as well hang out.
Even though everybody's here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still doing the hellscape, so man, this is. I'm gonna be finishing a lot of this during Critical Role tonight, I bet.
Oh, nice.
I probably have another half hour to actually finish doing the white step on the rest of the banks, and then I'll start doing everything else. It's because their CEO runs it like a backyard business. He rocks, packs, boxes, and stuff. That's awesome. I completely buy that. That's the thing is like I genuinely am astounded. Like they're very. I love that they like make sure that their sculptors are credited. Like I know who sculpts each of the things that I get, which is awesome. Like I don't know. I really appreciate them like being so artist focused.
Well, if it's your first time here, we do this every Thursday night at 6 Eastern. And we usually are wrapping up around this time, but sometimes we go a little late, so, you know.
Yeah, like this stream is our weekly, just like genuinely, it's exactly what it is. It's a hobby hang.
Yeah.
This is an excuse for us to like actually stop working and kind of just like actually do some stuff for us.
Yeah.
So we do some personal stuff. Toby is sculpting just a piece for himself.
And just practice and just try and get something big to completion.
Yeah. You should be painting Reaper probably now. I actually paint a lot of Reaper on here. I'm actually painting Forge today because I've been working through my Hellscape terrain. Let me grab some of the Reaper stuff that I've done on the show actually. So I've done a fair amount of Reaper on here.
I actually don't own any. Don't kill me. I don't own any Reaper since I've lived in New York. I had some back home, but I sold most of my stuff when I moved to New York. Do you guys make or paint for DF? So I'm one of the painters. I focus primarily on like miniatures and accessories. Toby is the technomancer. He's the one that like figures out how to get all the LEDs in there, the batteries, the special effects. He's also worked on sculpting.
Yeah, I do some of the sculpts every now and then.
Yep. Chris is our main stream guy. He's kind of one of the main reasons we've been able to get the Twitch up and running over the past year. So he's kind of on the Discord. He's done some video stuff. He's a freelance video editor too, so he's worked on that. But he's our primary stream and Discord sort of community guy. So we're all part of the DF crew. But we're all gamers too. That's why we were like, we got to just do a good old hobby stream because we have stuff we want to do anyway.
Okay, I grabbed a bunch of the stuff that I did on stream. I'm gonna actually go back to like some of the first things that I did on here were some Reaper things. So
I remember that.
First thing was I did a bunch of penguins.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I tried to do each penguin after like a different like existing one, and I guess another thing I should say is I'm a very new painter, which is why like the Reaper stream's been really useful to me, and you know Hamster being like our mini painter, he's been teaching me a lot of things, and a lot of the painters and artists in our community have given me advice.
Well, it's been insane how quickly you've improved too. It's been kind of fun to. You know, this week, and for me too, it just makes you sit down and paint every week. So it's nice to like feel that progression a little bit.
Yeah. So these are some of the first minis I ever did was those penguins, and then I did like this gnome army.
Yes, the gnomes. That's right.
Yeah, did this gnome army. And so this is my first time like kind of painting to a color scheme. And we haven't used these in my game yet. So a lot of stuff that I paint is so that we have stuff to use, both at the Dwarven Forge office, because we don't make a lot of minis ourselves. So we don't have a lot of minis around the office. And since we started doing games and stuff, I wanted us to have more minis. So it was partially for that, but then also for my home game. So a lot of it's been for that. We haven't introduced these guys into our home game yet, but we've got this like just army of gnomes now, just in case we ever need them.
That's awesome.
And then I was learning to paint translucent, and so.
Oh, the ghosty.
Yeah, we've got the wraiths. I did on here, so I was really nervous about this, and then I was actually surprised at how quickly they painted up, and I was like, oh, I was so nervous about doing these, and they were actually one of the more simpler things. I love the effect though, like just the dry brushing.
Yeah.
Stuff is very fun. So
yeah, it's interesting the different approach to translucent stuff of like. It's kind of like, what do you not want to paint and leave the translucent color?
Yeah.
This is one of the more recent things I did.
Oh, that's right. Wait, will you show the The big boy with the airbrush and stuff?
I've got him right here.
Okay.
So last thing, the last Reaper thing I actually did was it took me a couple weeks. My first time doing a large mini.
Turned out great.
I did the Frog Hemoth.
Yeah.
but I based him on a poison tree frog instead of a regular frog. And so I kind of took inspiration from that color scheme and did that. It was my first time doing a piece that had to be like assembled like this and all that.
Yeah, that's an intense mini.
Yeah.
That's hardly a mini.
I don't know. Yeah, this is a maxi. I don't know when we're actually going to get to use this, but we've got it.
Well, you got to now, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, now I've got it. So, like, literally, I got it just because I loved the sculpt and I wanted to try doing something like this.
Right.
But now that I've got it, I need to find an excuse to make our DM use it.
There you go.
But yeah, that's some of the Reaper stuff. I've got so much Reaper stuff here. I'm very excited for my Bones 5 order, actually.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of work ahead of you with that.
I should actually be here soon, I think. Well, I'm in a pretty late wave. I was a late backer, but I've got like $450 worth of stuff coming. I'm very excited about it. It's still a small mini for Reaper. Man, dude, I almost went in on the boat, but I literally have nowhere to put the boat. I stopped myself from doing the boat because I genuinely just don't have anywhere to put it. I was very tempted though. The ship's crazy. Yeah, I shouldn't call it a boat. It's a ship. Oh, I actually did get their smaller rowboat actually. So I do actually have a Reaper boat. I just didn't get the ship. Are there any other really? I'm trying to remember all the Reaper stuff now, and if there's any other particularly interesting Reaper sculpts I've done. Let's see. No, that's Norse Foundry. Oh, this one's kind of cute. So I did Rocky. My favorite thing I did with him though was I used
oh, nice.
the Golden's pearlescent on the eyes.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks sweet.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did that one. I like those. All stuff I got on hand. Some of my minis are in weird places. Currently. Oh.
So I'm in the middle of moving, and I'm kind of doing a gradual move. So whenever I swing into the office, I kind of bring stuff, and I've made multiple trips now, and so I'm sort of first grabbing the stuff I'm not using actively, and every single trip so far has only been miniatures. That's how many miniatures I have.
I'm so excited to have those problems.
Over quarantine, all of my impulse buys over quarantine have been miniatures.
I've been going in like since you started showing me how to paint. I've been going in so hard on so many minis Kickstarters.
Yeah.
I want to just build up a big catalog of minis because I got tired of us like doing projects where it's because so much of my stuff is about like helping put together games and stuff now. I got so tired of us like putting a game together and just being like, well, we don't have a mini for this. Like we need this mini. We need to find a way to try and rush order it and paint it last minute and everything. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna start making just a big catalog of minis that we can just pull from when we need them for games and stuff. And then I can write off all these minis that I bought as a business expense.
Yeah, that's why I would justify everything too. Well, I'll probably use it at work at some point.
Hey, man. That secret project that we've been filming the last couple weekends.
Yeah.
I've used some of the minis that I got in those Kickstarters for it. So,
there you go.
There you go. Yeah, like it is officially business expense worthy.
Yeah. And we'll say too is like working at a gaming Kickstarter company and just like logging in, like all of my targeted ads online are for gaming Kickstarters.
Yep, same.
So I see all of them.
It's also like, oh, it's market research,
Right.
Well, that's the thing that Tyler's doing with he got the Dungeons and Lasers stuff because we're working on a sci-fi set, and so
yeah,
we're looking at like what they did to like, see what they did, what we think we can improve on, and all that stuff. And he can write that off as a business. It's market research for his job. Like, but also, you know, if he gets to play with it, he gets to play with it. But you know,
Playing with it, just further market research.
yeah, further market research. Let's see. Hard to say if only there was. I'm gonna have 2 pirate ships and hopefully not a divorce in a few weeks. Okay, the ship that I went in on is actually. Do you guys know? Oh, what was the name of that pirate game Kickstarter? Blood and Plunder.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting 2 ships from that one.
That's so funny because that was the one that I distinctly remember. I had my pledge ready and I talked myself out of it, and the next day you said you backed it.
All in, baby, let's go!
So I said, all right, maybe I'll get a chance to play it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were like, oh man, I wanted to play this. I'm like, oh yeah, I actually have that coming. I got enough for, you know, for 2 full players.
And I've already sent you Kickstarters like, hey, check this out. You're like, oh yeah, I'm already all in on that. Like Monster Hunter and stuff.
The amount of people who sent me the Monster Hunter Kickstarter, they're like, hey, did you know this was happening? I'm like, yeah, I'm all in. Like, are you kidding me? Monster Hunter World is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fully in on that. I do wish I could just get the minis, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many sets coming out with that. Warhammer Quest, Cursed City. If they had just the minis, I would scoop those up. All of those board game. I get that it's a different product, but if they would release the minis on their own, I would. Yeah. You think they will, Topulus? Man, I mean, I was gonna say that'd be awesome, but also that means I'd be in trouble. I guess you're right. Yeah, they got the molds.
Look at how much you're actually getting painting done now that we have this show where you have to paint every week, though.
Right, that's true. That's true.
That's why we started doing the hobby hang, right? It forces us to actually do the stuff that we say we want to do.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
But no, it's fun stuff. Oh, and then I guess if you're new to the stream, another thing we do is a lot of people who are watching are also doing hobbies and painting or sculpting or doing other stuff along with us, and we all post it in the Discord afterward to show like our progress and all that.
And we also have an awesome weekly behind the scenes on the design in the studio. So
what?
On the anvil.
Oh, on the anvil, right. Yeah. Every Wednesday we do an On the Anvil where we kind of go through the just showing like whatever step of the miniature terrain making process we're on. Yeah. You know, pretty much everything that goes on at the company we talk about there, and it's pretty transparent about the struggles and the triumphs and the different problems that we have to solve and all the philosophies. It's been a pretty fun thing. And now that pretty much the whole team is fully vaccinated and we're starting to get back into the office, there's a bunch of other shows that we want to start doing that we had to shelve when we went into quarantine. I think the cardboard components are the issue. I listened to Hobby Hang during physics class. Awesome. We have a Critical Role spoiler chat that we hang out in during Critical Role after this on the Yeah, that's true. Every Thursday night we're watching Critical. I'm usually, whatever I was painting on the Hobby Hang, I'm usually still working on as I watch Critical Role, and we're all, you know, chatting about it. Because they always bust out our terrain and everything, and so we critique his building. That's not true. We don't. Nobody picks on Matt. We only threaten Matt to sell his vaulted diagonal walls to us. Let's see. Should we steal the Is It Thursday Yet thing for Hobby Hang? Should we just start saying it at the top of every Hobby Hang and see what happens? See if we can make Critical Role come after us? Do you think that's like a copyrighted term?
No way. They can't take Thursdays. We have early Thursdays. Belong to Hamster.
Thursdays? Yeah, I mean, they do, you know, like, catchphrases are something that gets claimed in copyright law, you know?
Yeah, I suppose.
It closes every episode saying it. 100% trademarked. Hopefully he hasn't caught wind of the restock. Dude, we have to just stay really quiet about the restock. If we don't tweet about it, he won't know about it. But if Matt Mercer finds out that we're restocking the Vaulted Diagonal Wall pack, he's gonna swoop and he's gonna buy all of them. He's gonna set up a bot.
A bot.
He's gonna set up a bot. And he's gonna buy all those diagonal walls, and he's not even gonna do you guys the luxury of scalping them and letting you pay like through the nose for them. He's just going to have them all. Like the next Critical Role, you're gonna see a build that is just 90 vaulted diagonal walls.
And the minis are diagonal walls too.
What's that?
Everything's diagonal walls.
Everything's diagonal walls. He's gonna find so many clever ways to. Oh man, who was it that did the build? Who was it that did that build with our dungeon stuff where they made like a 2-foot tall tower?
Whoa.
On a 12 by 12 terrain tray, and they just took all those things and they made like a steeple out of it and everything. It was wild, like taking like the shapes that we had for the dungeons.
Huh.
Want to have a Dwarven Forge on and see if Liam and Matt show up to talk about it. Honestly, Liam and Matt might. They're very big like fans and customers. Liam is probably the person that we're closest to out of the group. But they're all very cool people. Not a single bad person there.
Oh yeah, and I think they're all fans. It's just a matter of like to get them on. It's just like their schedules and their commitments and stuff.
They're in incredibly high demand. They're like the most in-demand people in the industry.
Yeah.
So as they've grown, it's been harder and harder to do stuff with them. But
do you guys ever send free stuff to CR? I don't think we need to. I think they just buy it and they have it personally.
Yeah, they authentically just own a bunch of it.
Yeah.
I have sent them.
We probably have like done things here and there, but.
Well, yeah, we don't really have to send them very much. Like Matt and Liam just authentically go like heavy every Kickstarter.
Like if they asked, I'm sure we would, but they never have because they just want it and they get it.
Yeah. That's the thing is they were customers like before Critical Role.
Right. Let's
see. Oh man. If I ever get famous, can you guys send me some free stuff? I always love one of my favorite stories. One of my favorite celebrity stories is somebody was behind Dave Grohl at a record store, and Dave Grohl was like checking some stuff out, and the guy checking him out told him that like his records were on the house, that like they would cover it, he could just have them. And Dave Grohl like looked at me, he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "And I can afford it." He's like give the free stuff to that guy. And
Nice.
Dave Grohl's like a stand-up guy, dude.
Yeah.
Every single story that comes about Dave Grohl is about him like just being like an authentically extremely good human. In the last narrative telephone, you can see Liam's collection in the background. It's impressive. Yeah, he had just this huge stack of like sterilite tubs with Dwarven Forge in them. Which, that's one way to store them. One of the biggest ongoing Dwarven Forge discussions is how do you store it when you have all this stuff.
Yeah.
Do we do anything with game stores? We do not, unfortunately. We don't have large enough order volumes to be able to put them in stores without it causing like a serious markup. We would like to be in game stores at some point. We used to be. It didn't work out a long time ago and we had to stop. If we can grow in enough ways to make it feasible, we absolutely would want to, because there's just a specific kind of exposure that you get when you're in a game store, where people wander in and they have no idea that you exist, but they're looking for some stuff for the game they're starting up with their friends, and they're just you walk into a hobby shop and you just see all the cool stuff that's there. And I do go into hobby shops with an idea of what you're looking for, but every time I go into like a game shop, I always just see stuff that I didn't even like think about. I look at it, I'm like, that looks really cool, and like there's always at least some impulse purchase that happens.
Yeah, but even if it's just like starter or course, like small starter or course sets, really should at some point.
Yeah.
Well, what I've always wanted to do is like, at least locally, like where they have clubs and stuff, just like give some starter dungeons to clubs, because the big thing is like you don't have to play with terrain, right? But like once you do, it's a totally different ball game. You know what I mean? So if you can just get some people playing with terrain at all,
Yeah.
then,
Once the Z-axis is introduced, it's very hard to like
Yeah.
forget it. Like being able to add verticality to combat is just wild. It opens up so much stuff you can do. So I'm so excited about the cities Kickstarter. There's so much potential for like really cool vertical Z-axis play
Yeah.
in city environments that doesn't really happen very often, because when you're looking at a mat or it's all theater of the mind, it's actually easier with theater of the mind than if you're using a dry erase mat. So with dry erase mat, you are looking at a thing and going like, this is my environment. Whereas with theater of the mind, you can imagine like the rafters and scaffolding and stuff like that. I don't know. I love the idea of like doing rooftop chases and stuff like that.
yeah.
Just read an article today about how Dave Grohl would routinely drive the Nirvana tour van 18 plus hours to prevent Kurt from getting behind the wheel. I guess he wasn't a very good driver. That story entirely checks out. It's always, Dave's Nirvana stories are always interesting because he came into it. There was like some serious imposter syndrome going on when he initially got in. He felt like he was among like all these like phenomenal artists, and then there was him, which is fascinating to me because now he's like one of the most prolific men in like rock. Like Them Crooked Vultures did really well. Foo Fighters consistently does really well. I don't know. It's interesting to think that like somebody like that deals with like insecurity in his art. Almost like everybody does.
Right.
I'm close to done with this bank, and then I've got 2 left. I'm a supporter of Dwarven Forge and such, but it isn't cheap. Plus, with the Warlock tiles out right now, it might bite at the Dwarven Forge market, and the end users want maximum stuff for their dollars. Support DF and WizKids, even just crafting your own stuff with XPS foam. Really want to go more heavy on DF, but it's pricey. Working at game store, want to use multi-products to do in store and at home builds, and we can game at the table again. So that's the thing, is if we put it in the store, that would increase the price even more. Like if it was in game shops, that or we would like authentically be selling it at a loss. Because the stores would have to be able to make a profit off of selling our stuff, so the prices would need to be increased to account for the fact that there's a middleman there. And that's like the rough thing is like the main thing is our stuff is very expensive to make. We decided to be the company that does hand sculpted and does injection molding. It does like Dwarvenite, that it's like super durable and will last longer than 3D printed stuff and resin. Trying to do pre-painted, which that's another thing too, is a lot of times people will compare the prices of our painted stuff to other unpainted stuff and be like, wow, yours is so much more expensive. And it's like, yeah, but you can also get our stuff unpainted, and that significantly lowers the price. It's just, then you have to paint it. And pre-painting is not something that's offered by very many people. Toby, Chris, Hamster, Magic the Gathering just previewed some D&D Magic the Gathering cards. Yeah, they just answered that, or somebody brought that up earlier. They have a Vorpal Sword that makes the damage player lose the game.
What?
I had to look at this stuff afterwards.
You just straight up lose if you get hit by the Vorpal Sword?
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
Illegal, right?
In fact, I think I might wrap up here because I gotta get some food, man.
Nah, that's fair.
But I'm glad that a lot of you stuck around from the Reaper raid. That was really exciting. That was right when we were gonna wrap up too. If it was like a few minutes later, we might have missed you.
You almost missed us entirely. We really appreciate it, Reaper. If you're still, I don't know who was running the stream today, but if you're still here, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we like it's we use your stuff all the time. Like, you guys are very inspiring in the industry. Like, as somebody trying to build like a digital following, and have like better communication with the fan base. You guys have been like a model of how to do that. I appreciate it.
So is next week just a normal week for streams?
Yeah, next week. So we'll probably be doing any out there. Okay, so we're gonna have a special stream on the 22nd that we haven't officially announced yet. I don't think just in case something changes, I don't want to officially announce it yet. But there's a very cool special project that we're planning to do on the 22nd as a stream. Outside of that, the rest of this month is going to be pretty simple stream-wise, because we're doing a lot of stuff in the office to prep ourselves for doing big, cool things. So hopefully starting next month, we're going to start seeing a larger variety of streams more often, because we're moving back into the office and we're getting things moving and opening up new space, and it's very exciting. Like, we're finally getting out of pandemic mode here, and what it's gonna do for us.
Awesome.
Well, out of pandemic mode in terms of being at home all the time and all that stuff.
Right.
We're still dealing with, the ramifications of what the pandemic has done for shipping and all that, because that's still not entirely fixed, because that's a global thing. But we're all fully vaccinated, and I'm excited to start experimenting with new content. But next Wednesday we'll be doing On the Anvil. Actually, not sure what the topic's going to be. And then Thursday, Hobby Hang. So Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, we'll be giving like behind the scenes updates on like our Kickstarter progress, whatever test shots that come in. And then we be hobbying on Thursdays at 6 as usual.
We be hobbying. Awesome. Well, look out for those. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the Reaper fans that stuck around.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time, right? Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.